Hi everyone, my name is Ibbad. I'm a video editor and animator working for more than 5 to 6 years now in the industry and helping people create value out of content. And what you will hear in this episode will be my life story and how I reshaped my losses to wins by a long, long journey. I hope you're interested in seeing that. And yeah, that's about it.
Now, you're watching the Online Prosperity Show, the number one place to uncover real stories, methods, and mindset shifts behind today's thriving entrepreneurs and creators. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga. And if you've ever felt like maybe your creative career was one step forward, two steps back, and with a whole bunch of things that you don't understand going on there, well, this is the episode for you. Today, we're joined by my good friend, Ibbad. Ibbad, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Now, Ibbad is a video editor, animator, and creative director who literally turned a massive setback into a global post-production agency, which is SynergyCreations. And we're going to hear his story from losing up to $10,000 worth of equipment to now becoming the force that's leading this international creative team. And Ibbad's story is just a masterclass in resilience, vision, and literally building from scratch. So whether you're a business owner, creative, or someone who's trying to rebuild after a storm, I encourage you to stay tuned because what you're going to hear today might actually change the way you see failure forever. And hey, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the Online Prosperity Show, whether on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you're tuning in from, so that you never miss out on any of these inspiring stories like this. Now, Ibbad, I could go on, and maybe we could start running out of tape, because you're already in the, video industry. Let's just start from the beginning. You were a photo editor before. Do you remember the first photo that you actually edited?
Yeah, definitely. So I started photo editing basically in 2019, I would say, even before that. I don't exactly know what time it was, but I think it was 2018. So I used to edit for fun. I took a course, it was a government thing in our country, it was 6 months and just really piqued my interest, And then I was just doing it for fun, editing my friends' photos and stuff like that. And it really clicked out to me, it really felt like myself, doing that. And I was like, okay, this is something I really like to do. Apart from, going into I would say the direction in which every people go into our countries, like either becoming an engineer or a doctor or stuff like that. You know how it goes with Asian countries. So yeah, it was really nice, and I kept doing it. I think it was in 2019 or late 2018. I don't remember the date exactly, but yeah, I was scrolling through the phone at night, and yeah, I saw a job posting of a photo editor and a album designer. Keep in mind, I have never designed an album before. But yeah, I just applied to it, for the fun of it. I was like, okay, I'll just go into the interview and I'll see where it goes. So I had some job experience previous, summer job and stuff like that, working with my father as well, but not like working alone in a company. So I applied and I got a response from there, within I think a day or two. And they wanted me to edit some photos. They sent me a batch of it was basically a wedding company by the way. So they sent me a batch of photos to edit, and I just opened my phone, edited them. I was using my phone for editing at that time, a new PC, but I was doing it on my phone, and I just sent them back to them. Surprisingly, they liked that. In some, I would say, far off way, I think they found some potential in that, and I just ended up landing that into. I went there, and it was I still remember it. It was raining like hell. But I was like so pumped to go. I just wore the raincoat and, stuff on my clothes and just bashed into the interview, on my bike, by the way. So, and it was raining like hell, I would say. It was so pouring everywhere, but I just managed to keep my clothes dry for the interview. When I was parking my bike, the guy I was supposed to interview told me months later that I saw you from the window. You were unboxing all of your equipment that you were wearing, raincoats and stuff like that. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. So I went in for the interview and I showed them, edits a few things as well. I YouTube I had a lot of things for that as well. And I managed to close that job. And I still remember my starting salary there was like in USD would be like less than 70 USD a month. But like it was my first job and I was really excited for it. And I started there I from there I started my entry into photo editing and this production career stuff. So yeah. I know a
Absolutely.
long answer to your small question, but yeah.
Oh, no. It really gives us an insight into the kind of person that you are and how it all sort of started. Now, you did mention that obviously, in the culture that you're in, kids or people are expected to have some sort of a profession, like you said, engineer and things of that nature. Did you have any aspirations that you maybe wanted to be as a kid?
Yeah, being a teenager in this country as a kid as well, we had that same, thing encoded into our DNA, I think, to become a doctor, to go into the armed forces, and just white collar stuff, banking, teaching, stuff like that. But yeah, I was into that till my college life. I wanted to go into the forces as well. So, but like in that college era of mine, I also stumbled upon this course as well after I finished my college. We call it, it's not the college same as the college in the US, but it's different here in our country. So, and it just, I would say, changed my direction. And I was like, I was not in a lot into studies as well. Yeah. I was an average, above average student, but I didn't like to study. That was it basically. So, but this thing, piqued my interest as well. So yeah, I kind of changed my path. Faced a lot of repercussions because of that as well. My family and all of the people around me were like of the same mindset. I would say, not understand. It's all about they were supportive, but they couldn't understand what this career meant. So yeah, it was my journey had seen some rough roads.
Oh, absolutely. No, and you also did mention that part of your job experience was working with your father, and some of the things. What did he do?
Oh, so a little backstory on that. We were born and raised in like Saudi Arabia, So we shifted from there into Pakistan, I would think in 2015, 14. Don't remember the exact time. So I think it was 13. So when he came here, he opened a bunch of businesses, it was everything from A to Z. So yeah, I used a lot of time to like help him in a lot of things, work on summers with him in his business stuff as well. It was mostly retail stuff. So yeah.
Could you have gotten a bit of inspiration for entrepreneurship through, all of those endeavors?
Yeah, definitely. I think it really didn't pique my mind back then that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. It was like, okay, I'll just start my journey and see how it goes. But yeah, I would say at the back of my mind, I always felt like I need to do something bigger than I'm currently doing. I still feel it, by the way. It's not about being like ungrateful. It's about having an aim, to achieve something that you have mentally, I would say, mapped out in your mind.
Now, you did mention it was pouring, raining on the day you went to this interview, and obviously somebody would have been like, you know what, maybe another job will come and things of that nature. But what was the enthusiasm that actually got you to go to such lengths?
So yeah, funny story. Not funny by the way, but I would say two things, because it was a really era of recession in our country as well. And generally, it was my time to work. You know what I mean by that? Like things in the family weren't good enough as well. So I mentally knew like this is my time to step up. Basically, there was that motivation. And secondly, I really, really wanted to do something in my life. Yeah, like I'll see if I can add a picture in the podcast after edit. But I was 16 years old when I did my first, I would say, business thing. So it was like a stall I placed outside my father's restaurant, and I sold flags basically. And I was 16 at that time, and I make like good sum of profit from that. It did the whole calculations on paper and on a diary as well, you know. But yeah, it was fun.
So you obviously were given this job, you started editing wedding photos, but you then ended up building a global video agency, and that's quite a leap, from what you started to now what then happened. What sort of pulled you into filmmaking and animation in the process?
Yeah, this is going to be a long one. So I did photo editing for like 6 7 months or more than that. But the company basically I was working for, it's called Ibbad Studios, still exists. The owner of that company is a really close friend of mine as well now. So he always talked about opening a branch of that company in our country as well. He was Pakistani, by the way, living in the UK. So and the seniors that was in there, who later became my friends as well, they also knew how to shoot as well, filmmaking and stuff like that. So it really piqued my interest, seeing, okay, and now I've figured out the editing part. So now I should move on to the shooting part. And I still remember the first day I went on a shoot was like, I, the guy who taught me like everything, he's a really close friend of mine, by the way, now, because it has been a long journey with him as well. So he was going on an event. I was like, take me with you, I want to see how it goes. So I just shadowed everyone, I was seeing what they were doing in their camera, how they were posing, what light setup they were using, everything. And I just carried the light around people all day. It was in COVID, I think. Yep, it was in COVID. So I really watched them what they did basically. And it was kind of my training. Like I overshadowed them, asked a lot of questions, bothered them a lot as well. There was a guy, he also taught me stuff in my career as well, and I asked a lot of questions, and later went home and opened a lot of YouTube tutorials on how to manually operate a camera. And I had experience running operating cameras in my life because I used to do fun shoots, but not on the professional level. I would always use auto settings on that. Fast forward 2 weeks, I played with the equipment in the office as well, a few times, catching photos, capturing stuff as well. And the guy who trained me basically just gave me a camera one day and just said, there's a wedding at this place happening, go and shoot it. And he didn't tell me anything else. He was like, I know you can do it, but you need to figure stuff out. I spent all night, Googling tutorials on how to use that specific camera, and ended up going on the event. And it was my first ever like wedding coverage event. And it was like, I would say I was scared the hell out of everything, but I took a lot of pictures manually, and then I decided, I can just figure out stuff. And I just so in a normal camera there are two aspects. You're taking photos, you just attach a flash on, and I just set them both on auto, and I just took pictures out of them, and they turned out pretty good because I was good at editing as well. So I kept the photos on raw, so I can tweak them later as well. But like everything went good, and where I felt like I had the time to do manual, I did manual, and that was the first wedding that I did. And after that, like it was piece of cake from there. I learned lighting, I learned poses, I learned how to operate different cameras and stuff. And once you have basic understanding of how shutter speed, ISO, and aperture works, and how lenses work, you just get an idea of everything. And from that point onwards to like I would say 2 years, I just did a lot of filmmaking. learned video as well, how to operate a gimbal, etc. as well. And I shot a lot of corporate stuff, ads, short films, weddings, you name it. I was basically locally in my twin cities where I live. I just worked on everything that I could get my hand on, and it was really, really good for me.
There was a lot of learning, and I'm seeing that you were learning from proximity. You were in and amongst when it was where all the action was happening, and that's how you were learning and also, putting in the work there. But isn't equipment expensive there in Pakistan for you to be, trying and moving around with and things like that?
Yeah, that is a great question. So I'll divide this into two parts so I can answer a future question as well. So my mom bought me a car at that time. It was like, I think it was 2021, or I'm not good with dates, by the way. So I think it was 2020 or 2021. So I practically convinced my mom for a week or so, like, to sell that car and buy me a camera. So it took a lot of convincing. She bought it for me, and I was like, I love the car, but I need to do something practical out of this. And it was a Suzuki Cultus 2006 model. I think I still remember that color. It's black. It was a really nice car for me at that time. It was really, really something that I loved. I used to clean it every day as well. So yeah, I ended up convincing my mother and my family to sell that car and buy me a camera, and keep the rest of the money, so I can just go and at that particular time I had learned everything regarding to photo and video. The camera was the Sony A7 III. It was really, really in market at that time. There was the era of people transitioning from DSLRs to mirrorless cameras in our country. So it was globally as well. It was at that time. So yeah, I convinced my parents to buy that camera to me, and I think I bought it for more than 1,500 USD, I would say, with the lens and everything included. I still remember it. So yeah, and now in this duration of period when I bought my camera, my boss basically at that time wanted people to. He trusted us a lot. The guys that were here, and my friends as well, who later became my friend. We were working together for like 2-3 years now. So he ended up opening a branch here of his studio, I would say, to do weddings here in Pakistan as well, and corporate stuff as well. And he gave us a partnership share in that. Me and two of us got a partnership share in between them. So we ended up being employed there as well, to moving on from being the partnership in that franchise in our country. So it took us a week to consider everything, to I would say grasp the scope of this. What being in ownership means. We have to be answerable to a lot of things, expenses and stuff like that. But we were doing so good at that time in our country in terms of weddings and like events, shoots, edit as well, because we had that confidence that we can do this. And we were already working post-production for that editing for the company that was doing the job, and we were already doing post-production for the stuff that was sent out abroad. So we had that, confidence in our skills to be able to pull that off. And this all happened after I bought my camera, by the way. So yeah, it was. We ended up making it successful here to the point that we were earning good money in PKR in our country. Locally doing a lot of stuff in season. There's a wedding season in every country. I'm sure it's same as yours as well, over there as well. But we would bash the hell out of that season. Working day and nights, doing events everywhere in the Twin Cities and in other cities as well. Going, to packing the equipment, but we still had, I had a bike at that time, basically. I would, carry the heavy bag with lenses on my back, place I'll see if I can attach an image of that in the later edit. It'll be very fun. And place the stand on the petrol tank, and he used to drive all around all day because we used to have two events in the season, and if you have a shoot regarding corporate stuff as well, we still had to move equipment there as well. We were making good money, but not that much money we would be able to afford a car. So yeah, it was really winter, summers, day, night, everything. We were already always sunburned as well in our hand as well. But yeah, it was really fun. We never felt this because the other guys and me as well, we really loved what we were doing. Other people in this similar fields also agree with it. I would get called on any event that's happening in our country, like in our twin cities, at that time of year, because people love our work as well. Because even if it's our own work, if we're having an event and it's directly our client, we would definitely work very good on that. But if another person hires us and we're going to their event or their corporate stuff as well, we would put all our efforts in there as well. So yeah, it was a really good phase. I think it was 22 or 20. It was 2022, I think. Yeah. So we were at the peak of that brand being in our country as well, and our career as well. Speaking in PKR language.
Absolutely. But amongst all of that, I did notice somewhere that you ended up losing close to $10,000 worth of equipment, and you also went through some health challenges. What was going on in that period of your life?
So I think it was early 2020, late 2021. I basically fell from my bike one day. It was really 40 kph or 30 kph, kilometers per hour, and it was really nothing. There was an old man crossing the road in front of me. I just pressed the brake violently. The road was slippery and I fell. My friend was with me as well, and we were just laughing. That's how slow we were. And we just shaked it off. I had a couple of bruises here and there, just got an injection, and there was something on my leg, and I didn't pay attention to that at that time because I was like, if it's 21, I was 21 years old. So it was young blood and not caring what's happening to you. By the way, to the viewers watching, definitely if you fell or have something unusual, please go to a doctor or see my example. So yeah, it was really, I just shaked it off. My leg went all blue. But I asked my cousin, man, I just fell off a bike and this happened. He was like, don't worry, you'll get better in 2 days. I was like, fine, I just ignored it. Fast forward 1 year later, I was doing an event one day and I just felt a pinch sort of thing in my leg, And I was like, maybe I'm tired. When I moved a little, I was covering an event. I think it was a corporate thing in our country, the city I'm in. But I really started feeling pain in my leg. I was like, I need to definitely get this checked. When I got that checked, I had basically a cyst in my leg developed because I didn't, at that time when I fell from a bike, I didn't get it checked. So the blood in there got clotted over my, I would say, left leg. And it was sitting on top of how the left part of your body has your artery vein in it. It goes from I think the upper body from your heart towards your leg, the left side of your body. And it was the cyst that had developed from that blood clotting was really sitting on top of that artery vein. So they couldn't, operate it. It was too risky. So they just put me on a lot of meds for a long period of time. It's like 4 months or something. There was a lot of pain meds and stuff. But yeah, the pain was gone and I was really young and just kept shooting, kept doing work and everything as well. I think it was November. Yep, it was November. End of October or November. I have the exact date written on a paper as well. I had that date written for a long time as well. At that date, my surgery was scheduled, by the way. So I was working from home for a week as well. I had left events as well because my leg wasn't allowing me to do that. And then at the end, basically the doctor said these medicines are not working. We'll have to operate this out of your leg basically. So I was like, okay, fine. Because I had another surgery before as well. My appendix burst a while ago. So I'm very cool with surgeries. So it didn't scare me a lot. I was like, a normal procedure and wouldn't take that much time. On the day my surgery was scheduled, I get a call from my friend, the one that is at the office, he is my senior. He said, "Did you forget to close the office last night?" I was like, "Man, I'm not here since a week. I'm not there, so I don't know. But what happened?" He was like, "I came to the office and the door is unlocked." I told him to check the equipment. He was like, there's nothing here." We thought it was a good idea not to panic in the beginning. So we called a third friend who had an exam that day. He wasn't picking up. So we, for a minute or two, or like 20, 30 minutes, we assumed that he had took the equipment on an event. We might have an event after the exam, but we were also skeptical because he took a lot of stuff. Like everything was missing. From the point where I bought my camera to that point, we had developed or made. I had made like three bodies out of that. So body is basically a camera. We call it a body in the camera linguistics terms. So we had like 3 to 4 cameras of our own. There was a big event coming. I had another camera that I borrowed from my uncle as well. His was in the office as well as there was another camera of our boss as well that was in office as well. Only one of our cameras were outside the office at that day, and everything, lenses, cards, flashes, everything was basically in our office. So it didn't add up of that person that was gone for the exams to take everything with him because there's a lot of equipment. And when he saw the door was pried open, and I was like, I think we have been robbed. I just woke up, like when he called, I just woke up and I was like, I just directly jumped on my bike and went to the office. My office was the studio that we were a part of, like this thing. I had a B-roll of that as well. It was 45 minutes away from where I lived. 45 minutes, in traffic, 30 minutes if the roads are clear. It was very far. I was 18 kilometers away or something. I just rushed there, praying that they were pranking me, that they really want me here for something else, and they were just messing with me. And when I got there and I saw the lock open and pried, and then it hit me, okay, this is real now. It's not a dream anymore. We called that guy, and he came out of the exam, and he confirmed as well that he hadn't picked any of the equipment, and he also thought that we were messing with him. We just wanted him to come to the office after exams, so he also initially thought that we were messing with him. Yeah, we opened everything and sort through everything, tried to find in every cabinet or like look around here and there, and it was like nothing was there basically. So yeah, that was it. We were like very, very sure that everything is gone now. So yeah, it was. I'm not sure how much there would be in today's term, but at that time there would be equivalent of 10,000 USD, but maybe it will be more than now because things are very pricier these days as well. So yeah, we just called the local police in our area as well as the housing society security as well. And we had CCTV in our office, but surprisingly, nothing was working that day. Maybe the man that came wiped everything. But yeah, it was we were too stunned to speak. The 3 of us. We were sitting outside on the road when everything went down, and we got to the cops, filed a complaint. There were police in our country is like how it is everywhere else. So it was really non-cooperating and everything. And my complaint got filed a week after the incident. So it was that, because I created everything from scratch, every card, every lens, every flash, every wire, we had no one to invest with us. So the initial 1,500 I got from my family, that was it, everything rest. The jump from there, I invested in everything that I made, and there was another guy's camera as well, and the one that I brought from my uncle was also stolen. So I had that. Okay, now I have to give 2,000 USD of that as well, plus my own shit that I've lost. So yeah, the doctor kept calling me. He was like, "Man, you're scheduled for surgery today. Scheduled for surgery today." I just called him back and I was like, "You'll have to postpone this. I'm in a problem of my own now." So yeah, 2 weeks I spent private detecting the shit out of everything, going to places, and scrolling through so CCTVs of people, because basically I had no right to go to a shop and ask for CCTV, but and the police weren't very cooperative as well. They would come in an hour and just leave when I looked away. They didn't have time. It was to them, I think, if I think now, was an open and shut case. The camera, there's no way of tracking them. They don't have any SIM in there, and you can't drive a camera anywhere. So I think they didn't necessarily thought of putting their efforts in there. I just kept the complaint document. You get a document when you file a complaint. It gets registered after the police checks it. It's called an FIR in our country. But it was that got registered a week after the incident, by the way, maybe 1.5 weeks. I just used to go to a shop and show that document to people, like, I have an FAR and I can. You just need to show me a camera so I can find the person that stole my stuff. If there's ever said no, I was like, I can call the police and you can talk to them as well if you want, and they'll come and then you'll show me the camera. And I was like, okay, no, wait, here you go. And they would give me access to the CCTV. I traced the man from the building that we were in until he left into a block, and he was always covered in masks. I recognize him, and he. Funny thing was, the guy that left the day before this incident. He left at 8 p.m. This guy came in at 8:15. He knew this was the last guy in the office, and he's leaving right now. And I should go and pack everything of theirs and steal it and everything. So he had a lot of information. Some people suggested this would be someone from his circle as well, because we were doing a lot of events. A lot of people used to come into our office, and we had a lot of an album display of sort of as well for our clients as well. So a lot of people in our references would also come to bring their clients into our office as well to show them, final products and stuff like that. So there was a lot of people going in and out of our office over a year. We couldn't point our finger to one who was responsible for this. So I did a lot of private detective stuff on my own. Became Sherlock Holmes for two weeks. Didn't work out for me.
Oh no.
So nothing was panning out. I was days and nights after nights, and I stopped talking. I barely talked that 2 or 3 weeks, I would say. Just minimum words, because I'm too stunned. And I was 21 or 22 at that time. So for me to bear that loss at that age was too much for me. Even I considered myself a strong person, but there was too much for me. I was heartbroken. And empty in the bank as well. I had a lot of events scheduled too, and it was and nothing mattered basically at that point of time, because I had made everything with so much passion, so much energy, and getting that all taken away in a matter of 15 or 10 minutes is like it shatters your soul.
Yeah.
And on top of that, yeah, sure.
Yeah, a lot of people would maybe crumble after a setback like that, but what made you rebuild? I mean, was there an inner dialogue that was maybe driving you to just get back up and keep doing it?
Yeah, it was a 2 weeks path basically. After this incident happened, I was daily going into that place. My leg was killing me. I was taking painkillers every day, trying to find this man. I was like, there is no other way I can make this money back. And on top of that, giving 2,000 or plus USD to my uncle, that is not going to be possible without my equipment. If I have my equipment in hand, I can make that sort of money. But without that, no way. It will take me a lot of time. So I kept going every day, going to the police station, going to the area, searching everything. A lot of plazas in our area that we were in didn't have any lifts as well, so I had to climb like 10 floors, 5 floors with the leg that was killing me. So it was really, really hard. But I was like, my mind was so numb at that time that I didn't pay attention to anything. I would just wake up, take the painkiller of the day, take one at at the mid of the day and just try to find this man that I'm supposed to find. But yeah, 2 weeks passed and I was like, if I keep going down this hole, I don't think I would get anything, because the police
Mm.
was cooperative. I couldn't find the man's face, and even if I did find him, who the hell is going to find that man for me as well? So I came from the police station one day, and I was really angry at their behavior as well. Like there was zero cooperation from them, and I just sat, at besides my bike and outside of that police station, and I thought, like, if I keep going at this rate, even if a month passed as well, I'm not be able to find that equipment anyway. I just called my doctor, and he was 40, 50 minutes away from that location at that time. And called him and I said, I'm coming in for the surgery, be ready. The private hospitals in the country are really, really good, they just take money and just cut you open. And my doctor was really good, by the way, just joking. But yeah, I just came on my bike at that hospital, and like the doctor said, okay, like we'll give you a full anesthesia of this surgery. And I was like, no man, I don't have any time for that. Just give me a local anesthesia and I'll sit during the surgery. It's okay. He was like, you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm sure. He gave me local anesthesia and just cut open my leg in front of me. And it was in a really disgruntled or a bad way. I think I needed that sort of stuff, to, I don't know why I needed it, but I needed it. I didn't want it to sleep 16 hours after the surgery and wake up then and start, because I was done with everything. I sat through the surgery as well and was like, they stapled it in front of me and everything was fine. I was like, called my cousin from home and he came in and he was like, man, take me home and take my bike as well. But yeah, I was like, it's really not a good thing to do, by the way, getting a surgery, and the local anesthesia where you can see and feel people cutting you. But like, at that time, nothing really mattered to me, It was like, I need to get back on track. I just went home, slept the day, take a few medicines that they gave me for a day or two, and I just started getting back to work. Faced a decent amount of pressure from my family at that time, because they always told me to keep the equipment at my house. And I always used to keep it at my office because it was really in the middle of the Twin Cities. So it was easily accessible, to getting to the office, copying data and everything as well. And we had to do post-production as well for the company that we were working for. So it was a really good idea to go back there. So yeah, I didn't listen to my parents as well after this incident as well. Because I was like, I've given 3-4 years to this field. Even if I really do listen to them, end up working at a bank or like any job that my other relatives are offering me, I wouldn't feel right, to give everything up.
But you went on and you built Creations,
Yeah,
from this. Do you think if you hadn't experienced this loss, would you have gone ahead and built this business, or at what moment did everything start changing for you?
Yeah, definitely. You are right on that. I need sometimes because in the peak of my, I would say, Pakistani ventures, I did felt like I'm missing something. Even we were quite good here as well, but I also always used to talk to my friends as well in the office and normally as well. I was like, I can't do this my whole life, keep doing events, keep doing this sort of stuff, keep doing seasonal work. You're missing something here. And we always used to learn a lot, at that time. There was no AI and stuff at that time. So we used to do a lot of learning from YouTube. We were very passionate about what we used to do. After, I would say, this little incident of mine, my brother used to tell me a lot, get working internationally. He started working 4 or 5 months ago with an international client. And he always used to tell me, go work internationally. This local field is good. Do it in seasons, but like try going to the USD market. It'll give you more benefits. And I was like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. So the timeline was really perfect. My brother pushing me towards this, me experiencing this loss, and me also doubting. I wouldn't say doubting. I was like, I felt always like I need to do something bigger than this that I'm currently doing. And I knew like this tragedy that has happened to me, I haven't done something wrong with anyone. I'm a religious person as well. So in my bottom of my heart, like 5-10% place, I knew like this, all of this was meant for something greater. And I kept at it, started give. I landed my first international client 3 or 4 months after this incident. So I wasn't very good at sales or everything. I had to figure everything out whilst all that pressure mounting on my head. So it was like not 3 or 2 months, maybe more than that. I did spend a lot of time, to create samples, to understand how the international market works, and I was still a photo editor. I did new filmmaking, but I was a photo editor and graphic designing at that point of life. So I did a lot of learning, a lot of sales stuff as well, keeping both in mind. And I landed a client in 2 months, I would say, or 3 months. Don't know the exact timeline, but I do remember his name. It was Radu Barabi. He was my first client. Gave me some sort of international Amazon work to do, and it was like pretty good. I started working in USD market. It was paying me a good monthly retainer sort of stuff, and then things started to change for good for me. I was getting good payouts from that, and like feeling the comeback getting me. I had left shooting and everything at that point. It was really good when I found this stuff. I was like, okay, now my stuff is paying off, and I've done 2-3 months. Then I used the next 3-4 months to pay back my uncle. There as well, I had to settle. And it took me 4 or 5 months to get everything back together.
Absolutely. And congratulations. Now, obviously, when you started working internationally, there would have been a bit of a culture shock. You know what I mean? Like you seeing people doing things differently, maybe the time difference or just about everything else. What was there any learning curve that you encountered that has now shaped the way you do business now?
I would definitely say professionalism. Every client that I worked with, they were really sorted out with their stuff. And even apart from the cultural thing as well, culture that isn't, you can't figure any culture remotely 100%, but a lot of stuff you can figure out from Netflix. So it was really, really a good transition into that culture. Basically, there was a lot of learning, still is, but it was rather the professionalism and the being I would say a good resource for people, and while understanding their culture and the things that they found, the deliverable difference between the local market and then the people that are working international. So yeah, there was a decent amount of learning required for that, but I kept at it, saw a lot of stuff here and there, and kept learning until I figured it out.
One theme that I'm seeing in your journey, I mean, we started off with you going during the rain and it was pouring, and you went to that interview, and then after the theft happened, you were relentless. You didn't just give up. There's no give up in the thing that you are doing. So you've actually turned setbacks into systems and chaos into creativity now, which is something that is quite remarkable. But what sort of lessons would you want to give to anyone who's going through stuff in life, based on the person you've become today?
Definitely, it's my straightforward advice would be to not give up. Keep learning as well, because right now we are in the booming era of AI. Back then when I started thinking, it was if I compare it to now, it was a bit easier. But like these days, you have to be very up to the market in AI and all of the other learnings respective to your fields, and just be consistent and be resilient. Keep doing it until it works.
Absolutely. So you've actually built a talented team. You've worked with some big international names, and now you're on the Online Prosperity Show. What's your secret to keeping maybe creative and also the people that you have motivated, around the vision that you have?
Yeah, so we transitioning a little bit of backstory in this as well. After I got that initial contract, I worked a few, and then I got into international wedding basically because I was a part of it anyway in our country as well. So and at that time I felt like I would be more good in sales rather than in the actual operations and the outer product of what we are producing. Because me and the friends that I had were already working on some clients. Because I was getting good at sales, getting good at talking to people, understanding what they want. Because at that time there was no GPT, so there was a big language barrier problem between the international market and our countries in Asia or everywhere else. So I was good at understanding what they wanted, and delivering what they needed, basically, and producing results out of that as well. So it really hit me to, step back from, and I learned video editing after this phase as well. Like when I started, it was all about design, photo editing, and in between that, hitting up clients, talking to them, seeing their video needs as well. Because I didn't have a lot of capital at that time, so I decided to learn video editing myself. Took me a few months, and I mastered it into the level that was needed for me. It was UGC and e-commerce ads at that time. So I figured it out and started doing it. And that, from that point of view, and after that contract, I started this agency 8 months after that. I opened a small little office in our area. I will show you that as well. And I started from there. We were there was later on a close friend of mine joined me as well. He's still here, by the way. I used to do the editing myself in the beginning, and I would let him handle all of the basic communication with people that I wanted him to, with my clients, and just do sales in my free time. And I just kept learning, and I made a shit tons of mistakes from that point till 2024 as well. And at the end of the time, I still make mistakes. It's fine because people see all of the business owners and how they perceive on social media of them being errorless. We still make shit tons of mistakes, but the important factor to it is to learn from them basically. And yeah, we just trial and error, kept testing, and ended up hiring 5 to 7 people at that time. In 2023, I think we switched to a bigger office, and then I expanded my team twice that size, and to a point where we are now at a good pace. We had 26 people full time on my payroll basically. So yeah, it was a really, really fun journey from that, trying, testing and error, learning content every day. Basically, when AI hit in 2022, we were doing basic subtitling work at that time. It was a really change of phase for us. The AI came, boom, all of that work gone. I had 6 people just doing subtitling at that time. Iman Ghazi, Alex Mozi, they all started their fame train basically just adding captions to videos. We were doing that for a lot of people at that time. I would say the 6, 7 people that I had for basically subtitling were doing the work of 20 clients, I would say, or 50, because there was basic work at that time. AI came, that work just completely vanished, and we had to learn again. AI developed more, we had to learn again. It's all trial and error.
Absolutely, and congratulations. But what is it that you help clients with now? If somebody comes to SynergyCreations, what would you help them with?
So it's basically what we offer is content. We would give, so a client comes on board, with us. I would first have a list of questions for them if they're a new business, or if they are running a business right now as well. And it would involve a lot of processes of what they're currently doing, what they want done, and what they want to achieve with content, basically. And after that, I'll get on a call with them, see if they have a creative strategy, see if they have a production team, for them to give us content, have a call with them as well to align on everything, that what type of content they are producing, and just making content out of that, and the editing side, we handle animations, post production in terms of highlights, ads and stuff. I handle all the creative strategy that is ad related these days. I do handle others as well, but I like to see performance via content. So yeah.
And if somebody is keen on maybe working with you or discovering some of the work that you're doing, what's the best way that they can get in touch with you there, Ibbad?
Yeah, I would say definitely LinkedIn, and also on our website as well. We have a number attached there as well, our email there as well. But yeah, LinkedIn is the quickest way to reach me.
Absolutely. I will make sure that all that information is in the show notes there so that you can get in touch. And finally, I mean, you've been talking about AI, and obviously we've gotten a gist of who you are and where you've been. But now that you've brought us into your world, what's next? What kind of stories are you going to be telling later? And what can we rally around you and incorporate?
So we, as an agency, and personally me as well, are on the road to providing people value through content. Either you're doing a service business or you're an influencer, or you just wanted to show your face on camera. We'll just first familiarize you with the content game basically. And it doesn't matter if you have like good equipment or anything. You just need a camera, your face, and something to speak about. And then you just go on and on about this, and we'll help you with that direction. And I want people to create content that converts basically, whether it's views, whether it's paid ads. Like, we want to figure out that system. We are a long way into that as well. We have created a lot of winning ads, viral videos as well. But we really want to pin that system. That's my goal for 2026 as well, to be able to help people with content, where they get views, where they get sales, where they outreach people. And in the end, the value that they want to offer to the community, wherever they are in this world, they'll be able to offer it with us.
Absolutely. And I viscerally believe that people come to the internet to get information. And if they're getting that information from, your clients, then your clients are going to be very, very successful. Now, Ibbad, I can't thank you enough for the time that you spent with me on the call today. I mean, your life story and your experience have so much value. And I love how you weave all of this into a great story, based on just where you've been and how you're helping, your clients. And it actually shows that when somebody starts working with you, they'll also be able to have a good story to tell.
Definitely.
Absolutely. What a powerful conversation. I think Ibbad's story is just proof that setbacks are just, a setup for a comeback. And with faith, consistency, and vision, you can actually rebuild anything from scratch and actually make it stronger than before. And as you've heard Ibbad's story, you too can actually have a happier existence if you just don't give up. So if you're watching this right now and you've maybe you've ever lost something, or you've ever lost your zeal or your will to leave, maybe it's a client, a job, or maybe sense of direction, I just want you to take this as a reminder that your next chapter might actually be the best one. So make sure you subscribe to the Online Prosperity Show so you do not miss out on content like this. And if you know anyone that is maybe likely to be able to gain something from this conversation, just share this episode with them, and hopefully they will be able to grab something from it. So I can't wait to see what you do with this information today. Until next time, keep creating your own prosperity, and I can't wait to hear your story. Bye for now.